it's Evelyn, and welcome to Flosstube episode 3. If you're new to my channel, this is a channel where I talk about cross stitch and all things crafty, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for returning, spending a little more stitchy time with me, and if you are new, I hope that you like what you see and stick around. So, we have a good amount of things to talk about this week. I hope you're all doing well. A little bit of life update, let's see. The big news would be that I got my first dose of the vaccine. Woo! So last Thursday, it's currently February 5th, Friday at 2 p.m. Usually I film later in the day, but I have teaching today, so I thought I'd film a little earlier. That's why it's a bit brighter in here. And last Thursday, I went and had my first jab in the morning. I'm in one of the NHS priority groups. I'll get my next one in about, they said 10 to 12 weeks at the appointment because the NHS is pushing the second dose back a bit so that they can vaccinate more of the priority groups first. Thank you to everyone who messaged me on my Insta stories after I posted that I had the vaccine and like wished me well and congratulated me and everything. It felt nice to feel everyone celebrating with me. I was fine. I felt a bit headachy and like blah, and it hurt a lot in my arm. My arm was sore for days and it almost like tingled and burned a bit. But they said that that was normal, so I didn't get a fever, I don't think. They said a low-grade like temperature would be normal, but I don't think I had that. So I just kind of took it easy on Thursday and Friday, which is relatively easy to do when you're a PhD student, just because I don't have like meetings or times that I clock in or anything. But yeah, I mean, I guess we're getting to the period when we're on the way out. Of course I say that, and then so many people are still losing their loved ones every day. If you have lost someone, my heart goes out to you. So that was the big news. The other big news was that on the 3rd was Nico and I's 2nd anniversary. Well, we were together 2 years on Wednesday, and obviously we didn't really go out or do anything, but we kind of took the day and we, disconnected from everything and just spent time together. We ordered some really fancy takeaway from this fancy sushi restaurant in town, and it was delicious. And we had like a little candlelit dinner in the house and everything, and it was just really sweet. I know for a lot of people who moved in together during lockdown and during COVID, it was a real strain on their relationship, but I think for us, it's just made us stronger. So Nico, if you're watching, I love you, baby. Okay, now that the SAP is over, let's see, other regular news. I'm teaching a lot. We've gone back to uni here, so term has started now. Started last week, but I haven't taught until this week because a lot of my students, due to COVID, needed to push their deadlines back for their first essay, because here at Cambridge, we teach primarily through supervisions, which is one-on-one teaching between the supervisor, which in this case would be me, and then the undergrad. And they write us an essay every week, and then we meet for an hour and we talk about the topic and the essay that has to do with the course. So I teach currently on 3 separate papers. One is American history to 1865, so the early America paper. I also teach on the material culture paper, and I also teach on the American consumer culture and consumer society paper, which has been fun so far this term. My students are really great and teaching's been going good, so that's good. Yeah, just trying to manage uni during lockdown again. But it is what it is. I figured before we get into everything, I do have, definitely some projects to show you, some haul. But there was a huge response to my suggestion to do a material minute in my last video, where, if you're new and you didn't see my last video, where I'm going to talk for like a minute or so on every one of my Flosstube episodes about an object from the past that is either related to my research or that I find really interesting, just so that I can insert a little bit of what it is that I do into my, stitchy universe. And since there was an overwhelming response that I should do it and that people would be interested, I'm going to do my first one now. So I will put these images up on the screen. I'm currently looking at them on my laptop, but you will see them over here, wherever I put them. And so for the first one this week, I'm currently writing a chapter of my dissertation on the death of George Washington and its reverberations throughout American material culture as the nation mourned the first president and sort of used his likeness to help bolster a sense of American nationalism in the early republic. And so I came across this memorial dinner service from around 1800, made in China but marketed for consumption in the United States. And it is a series of several different dinner set pieces, like a sauce boat, a plate, a dish cover, bowl, custard cup, sweet meat dish, a tureen, like a soup tureen. So basically a full set of a dinner service that is devoted to the death of George Washington. So as you can see here, each of the pieces in the dinner service has a picture of sort of a funeral urn and a like cemetery monument to Washington with an American eagle on the top. And in the background, there's sort of a willow, which is a common inclusion in mourning imagery from the 18th and 19th centuries. And this particular set was produced for Joseph and Rebecca Heath Sims, who were a couple in Philadelphia, and Joseph Sims was a relatively well-to-do merchant. And as you can see on each of the pieces, there is a monogram for the Sims printed onto the porcelain. And what's interesting about this, for me as a historian of material culture, is the ways in which everyday Americans were accessing this material culture of Washington and the way that they wanted to sort of commemorate his role in American politics and in American life through something as basic as their dinnerware. So that's our first material minute. Woo! I hope you all liked that. Let me know if there's specific things you want me to talk about with each sort of object that I bring up. Obviously, for some things, I will have more information on the owners, etc., than I will for others, but, let me know. Okay, now to stitching. So we have a couple of things today. So I have one finish and FFO. I have a new start, and I have quite a few whips that I touched this week. I kind of jumped about in the last 2 weeks, which I think was good. It felt nice to touch some more of my projects. Cheers if you have brought a drink. I need my tea before I teach this afternoon. And yeah, let's get to it. So first things first, I was able, since we last talked, to finish my tray that I was making by Stitcherovia. So I will put a picture of the chart here. Oh, also, look, I hung up my Hope freebie. Oh wait, I'm pointing weird. Yeah, look at it. Doesn't it look cute? Eee. Hopefully over time I can have like more stitchy stuff back here on this wall, since this is like my filming spot now. But anyway, back to the topic of conversation. So I finished my Stitcherovia piece. This was So Essential by Stitcherovia that I got off of Readly, and I will put the magazine issue in the description box. So here is my finished tray. So this tray sits next to my stitchy spot on the corner of the sofa like this, and it's relatively loose. It's just a fabric tray. It's not like reinforced or anything, other than a bit of interfacing on the bottom, because I wanted it to be slightly stiffer on the bottom part. So as you can see, there's a bit more resistance down there. But yeah, so I made a lot of modifications to this chart. The version in the magazine is a series of 3 smaller trays that are all 3.5 by 3.5, and I sort of combined bits and pieces from them and made a slightly bigger, more rectangular square that kind of comes out to more like a 5 by 5 kind of scenario. The version of this pattern that Stitcherovia sells on her Etsy is called Stitchy Stash, and that one includes the motifs from all 3 of the squares put together in sort of a wall hanging. And I did a full color conversion to this just with like DMCI and stash, but they all go with the like suggested color scheme, except for this bobbin, which is supposed to be it's not a bobbin, but this spool. It's supposed to be these 2 greens that are kind of blended in here. I don't know if you can see this. There's a darker green at the bottom to kind of create a shadow. Oh, whoops, I just messed up my back stitching and the pins there, sorry. It was supposed to be these 2 greens, but I prefer coral. So as you can tell by like my all of me, so I went with the coral. I really like the way that the needle case turned out. So much back stitching. I love the scissors as well. And I went ahead and in this blank space here, I put in my initials and the year using the font that Emma provided, and I added this little back stitched heart. And yeah, I'm really happy with this. And so then for finishing, I just ironed on some interfacing on the back of the stitching. This is on a 28 count white even weave from Zweigart. It's just very simple, had it in a drawer. And then I took some of a fat quarter of this kind of pretty orangey coral fabric that I got from Hobbycraft, and I sort of lined them up and seamed them around the edges on my sewing machine, left a little bit of a gap, stitched that up by hand, and then I pulled up the corners and I kind of made it so that they would like touch in a bit of a triangle, and then where they kind of came together in what I wanted to be the square corner of the actual tray, I just tacked it with a little bit of thread, and I did that on all 4 of the sides. I know Michelle, Mama Loves You GB, has made similar kind of trays like this using like snap, like button snaps. But the suggested finishing in the magazine was just use stitching, and I didn't really feel like going and finding button snaps, so I just did like this, and I'm really pleased with it actually. It is a bit floopy, so in the future I might make one that was a bit more reinforced, but it actually doesn't really bother me that much. And I thought I could show you what I've been keeping in it on the side of the couch. I've sort of piled it all over here. But I have my AirPods in here for when I'm listening to audiobooks while I'm stitching. I have my blue light glasses for if we are playing video games while I'm stitching. I have my little Ort tin, which I got off of Etsy, and I just keep my Orts in there. I think this is really cute. I've liked this pattern. I can link the shop below. It's a UK shop. And I have my It's So Emma cross stitch key, which is a corner like a corner gauge, and it has a count ruler here at the bottom, and then it has like suggested needle size per count of fabric, and I like to use this to mark my corners because it's really easy. I got this from Lakeside Needlecraft, but I know they also sell it on Fat Quarter Shop. And I keep my little owls from last week. This is just a couple of them because I pulled them off of a project earlier, but I keep them in here just in case I'm putting something new on the Q-snap and I need to roll something up. And I have my scissors in here, which are on like a beaded necklace thing that I got off of Etsy, because when my grandmama taught me to sew, she always put her scissors on a ribbon and then hung it around her neck. I had a ribbon originally, well actually it was like a string, and it was getting super messy, and so I just bought these beads because I thought it was a bit more permanent. And then when I placed an order from Plan to Stitch, oh god, a few months ago to get a needle minder, they included as a freebie this little needle threader with a I don't know if you can see, so that's gonna, yeah. So this is like a holographic sort of glittery needle threader, so I just have that attached. And these scissors are from Millward, and they're kind of like the oil slick, and I like them because they're the stork variety. And then the last thing I've been keeping in here, or well, I guess there's two more things. A nail file. Mostly because I keep that by the side of the couch because I'm always aiming to like break a nail while I'm on the couch, and I don't want to go upstairs and find a nail thing. And then the last two things kind of go together. So I have my daylight clip-on, which I don't use for every project, but I definitely use it for like tulip house or something because the fabric is so dark. And then I have a piece of felt that I put under it on the Lowry stand because this was actually starting to scratch the Lowry, and so we have protective felt. And so all of that kind of sits here in the tray like this on my stitchy spot on the couch, and it works perfectly. I'm so glad that I went ahead and stitched this up. It works super well. Okay, so next up, let's talk about my new start. So this, I haven't, I don't think I've mentioned this at all on my Instagram yet. My Instagram is the same as my YouTube, Evelyn Across the Pond, and I tend to update on my progress in between videos over there, but this one I kind of wanted to save for my YouTube channel. And I had recently got to thinking that it's been a while since I stitched something for the Harry Potter wall, and it's looking kind of empty. And I have had this pattern on my radar for what feels like a literal age. So this pattern is called Visit Hogsmeade, and it's a country magic stitch pattern. I've been stitching it through Pattern Keeper, so I will pull it up. And I've seen this chart on Etsy like a zillion times when I've been sort of just on an Etsy browse, you know? And I've always said I was gonna get it, but I hadn't actually like bit the bullet yet. And then they were doing a sale on the pattern, like maybe 10% off on the Country Magic Stitch site. And so I finally just went for it. So here's what it'll look like. Sorry about let me zoom a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's better. Is that not the most beautiful thing? So it's like a vintagey kind of travel poster. Obviously it has, you know, Hedwig / Snowy Owl on there, which I love. I love the light inside of the buildings. Oh, it's just beautiful. And the snowy mountains and everything. Obviously this is full coverage, and it's 128 by 176. So it's not going to be too big, but it is extremely full coverage. So, and I haven't had a full coverage piece on the Q-Snap in ages. And so I've decided to do this on just some 16 count Waiata that I had lying around. I think obviously in the future, I want to do my full coverages on 18 count just because I want them to look really, really full coverage. But I had like a swath of 16 count just rifling about in a drawer. And since I don't really stitch on Aida anymore, now that I've gone basically full gung-ho into linen, I figured I just wanted to use it up, if I'm honest. And so the chart calls for only DMC. It's like, I don't know, 17 or so colors. Here they are. Have them on my little thread card. Again, raggedy as all get out, but But I really like all these blues. It's just really pretty. And so I've decided to stitch this in like a 10 by 10 grid. I only have like one parked thread, so it shouldn't be too distracting for you to see. Or well, I do have a needle on here, but anyway. So all I've done, and it's still on the key snap, and actually this is part of my stitchy kindness, well, I will talk about it later. But yeah, so I've just done this little part in the top left hand corner, which is just blue sky, and then this one, and you can't even see it because it's like white on white, but a single snowflake. So I went down and I parked the thread, and then I was coming down and trying to finish this, maybe the second block. I think I might have like a row or two left on the second block. I think once I get further down and I get more into the actual building, I might not grid anymore. I might just like stitch what it is I'm feeling. But because the whole basically top half of the piece is this one color of blue, I figured if I went by 10 by 10, then I would hate it a bit less. So yeah, I managed, like, let's see, what does my pattern keeper say? I managed to stitch, when I started this last week, this is just 150 stitches, so not that much. It's only 0.67% complete. So I got a ways to go in this one. You're going to be seeing this one for a while. And because on 16 count, it's going to end up being basically 8 by 11. I have it on my 8 by 11 Q snap right now. So that's my new start. And I'm really happy about it. And it's going to look really good next to the Hogwarts piece that I finished, that I showed in my first video. It's going to hang sort of right next to that on the Harry Potter wall. And once I have them all up there and like the wall looks a bit more like an actual Harry Potter wall as opposed to a long, you know, a long lost dream of a Harry Potter wall, then I will show that either on my Instagram or I'll throw up a picture here on my floss tube. So after I started this, I was itching kind of to get back to some of my other whips, and in particular this one. So I feel like I've been neglecting my 100 Owl Sal from Owl Forest Embroidery. This is a free pattern off their website. I'll put a picture of what it's going to look like here. It was a mystery stitch along that started, I don't know, last summer maybe, and it actually finished on the end of Christmas week, I think. I am so far behind. I am not doing this in terms of like Sal. I just am doing it for me. The last time that I picked this up was during election week in November, and because I stitched on it so much during all of the election results, I had come to associate it with like stress and anxiety, and so I had put it away for a long time. But now, after inauguration and getting my vaccine and feeling a bit more hope about this year, I decided that I was ready to pull it back out again. So I will show you a picture of where it was the last time that I worked on it, and this is where we are now. Let me get my floss tube board. Hold on. Okay, this is where we are now. So when I last showed you this, I basically had the top border, these set of owls, and then the center owl. And so last week I went ahead and finished this part. Oh my god, it keeps slipping. I need to get like a clip like Noah has, you know, where I added this part. So this is part 6, I think, of the piece. I am still kind of stitching it in the parts that it was released in, even though I know I'm not doing it in the Sal, and I could probably just stitch it however I want. I feel weird going out of order. Does anybody else feel that way? I would comment below. But yeah, so I've added this big boy. He took forever. This is he doesn't look that big, but he's basically full coverage. And it was a lot of stitches. And then this little fella, and then this one is he's my personal favorite. So I think and then I added in this motif, and this motif. Or no, this one was already here. It was these two. Yeah. And so then the next part is basically this same kind of thing over here with this one owl that has an absolutely crazy tail. I'll put a picture of him. He looks insane. So he's going to be over here. And then the next parts after that is the border down to kind of where those stop. And then it goes to the middle underneath the big owl in the middle. But I'm really happy with this. And I think my plan is to kind of like, maybe like every other week or so, I do another part or something so that this does get done this year, because I want to have this up. And as much as I love this stitch, and it is like nice to stitch on owls because I love owls, and it is like very pretty and kind of not muted, but just feels like it has very clean kind of looking colors to me, which I really like. Clean is a horrible adjective, but I think you'll know what I mean. But I just really want this hanging in the Harry Potter wall hallway, kind of on the other side, because there's this one empty wall sort of right next to it, and this would look perfect. And like owls, Harry Potter, come on, it would be perfect. So I really want to get this done. But I don't want to push myself so much that I hate it, which is what was happening during election week. So I'm kind of trying to go like at a more reasonable pace. So I think I'll probably be getting that out again next week or so. And I think with that done, I have now done 24 out of 100 owls on the piece. All right, so then next up, I worked on my Christmas wreath owl by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, because part 3 came out, or clue 3. And, oh, I should have said, 100 owls is on 32 count Zweigart linen and limestone, Belfast linen. And I'm using the DMC conversion rather than the owl forest threads. Although I think in the future, I probably will use owl forest threads, just because I think their DMC conversions don't quite match the mock-ups using the owl forest threads. Okay, but anyway, back to Frosted Pumpkin. So clue 3 came out, and I showed this over on my Instagram, but now I can show it here. So I finished clue 3. So this is actually kind of like a mini finish, to be honest. Maybe I should start putting this in finishes. But so clue 3 was this part down here next to the bow. Let me put this on the board as well, just so that there's not any confusion. So yeah, so that is the section that I did. So there's like 3 different greens in the wreath. I don't know if you can see, and it kind of works on making it more 3D to where you can see kind of where the like sprigs of the fur in the wreath would come out. Fur, F-I-R, not F-U-R. I realized it would be like the sprigs of fur in the tree. And this really pretty vintagey kind of ornament, and the candy cane, and these 2 little bulbs and some snowflakes. And then the next part that's coming out is going to be this part up here, and that releases on, I think, 19th Feb. And I have my Made to Create needle minder on here. Obviously, it's a bit tone on tone here with the gray from the top of the ornament, because it's a gray brown, and I have changed the call for, so I'm doing this on 28 count casual in natural. But based on the mock-up and the part that they have like blurred out, because this is mystery Sal, I know that this part is going to be green, and so the top of this is actually going to be like filled around with the green, so I don't think that I currently need to backstitch it quite like I did with the antlers on Rudolph and his feet, because I went around this with a slightly darker gray so that it popped a bit more, but I don't think I'm going to need to do that on this. Of course, I could be wrong, but my mock-up analysis says that that'll be all right. But I love this so much, and I'm going to be making this into a pillow like it's suggested in the pattern. And this is it's an 11-part sal. The last part will release in September or October. They're going to tell us how to make it into a pillow as the final clue 11, so that then we can have it all FFO'd before Christmas and have it sit out and everything, and I can't wait to do that. And I know ROCIO, Pocahama Stitchery, finally made a new video last night. Woo! Loved watching it. Welcome back. And she said that she has gone and got the called for like backing fabric from Ruby Star Society, and hers looks so good with what she did with her like metallic gold conversion in some of the diamonds in the bow, and so she picked one of the Ruby Stars that kind of goes along with that, and I loved that. And so now I need to go later and figure out which of their fabrics I want to use for my backing fabric, because that looked so good that I really do want to try to use the called for. But ROCIO's right, like that's gonna sell out, so I need to get on it well in advance. So then once I'd finished that, I was again itching to just pull out some other whips, and because it was Nico and I's anniversary and everything, I was feeling kind of lovey-dovey. And so I pulled out my Loved by You by Hello from Liz Matthews, which I actually am now stitching on Pattern Keeper, because I surprisingly this pattern worked in Pattern Keeper. Yay, love when things work in Pattern Keeper. And I just have this on Nico's Kindle Fire. This one doesn't have the mock-up. I will put a picture of what it'll look like when it's finished. And I'm going to be doing it exactly like Liz finished it. So I'm going to have it in an 11 by 17 frame, which is bigger than the actual chart. And then have it kind of be in the bottom left-hand corner. And so because of that, I started in the bottom left-hand corner, which was a weird thing to do because I'm usually either a middle starter or a top left starter, but I started in the bottom left this time. And so when you last saw this, well, I guess it doesn't matter now. When you last saw this, I had by, and now I have To Be Loved by You. So I kind of went hardcore on this one. And I'm doing this on 35 count Silvery Moon from Zweigart because I couldn't get the called for. I think Liz calls for R&R Weathered Shingle, and you know how it is getting fabric right now. So I went with Silvery Moon because it had that same kind of gray-y parchment kind of feel to it. I feel like it's coming up, it's looking right on camera. And so according to Pattern Keeper, I'm at 55% complete. So all I have left is It Is Sweet and How. And then I can finish this, and this is gonna go up in our bedroom. We have this one blank white wall in the bedroom that's just like screaming for a cross stitch, and I'm gonna put this there, and I'm just gonna frame it with this black frame that I picked off of Amazon. I haven't ordered it yet, so I can't like show it to you, but I'm hoping that by next video this will be an FFO because I'm just really enjoying stitching on it. And I'm using the called for thread. This is Weeks Dye Works Coal. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of like a blacky gray, which I really like the way that that stitches up because it kind of fits in with the kind of like weathered farmhousey sign kind of vibe, which I love. And there are a couple of people who've just started this. So obviously Megan, George Girl Stitching, is kind of who got me on to stitching it. But now Honeybee Stitcher is stitching it, Morgan, for her like wedding entry table, which is a genius idea. And Triple M Stitching on Instagram, I'll link her as well. And she's stitching hers on like a fabric flare that sort of has like a wood paneling behind it that looks like even more farmhouse. It looks super good. So yeah, I'm loving this stitch. I can't wait to have it up. I just love Liz Matthews patterns. Oh, anyway. Okay, so then the last whip that I worked on is I pulled out my tulip house again. So this is Tulip House by Hands On Design. And this is actually a physical chart, so I will show you the chart. God, I love this chart. Okay, so this is my New Year, New Start. And part of the reason I love it is because it's beautiful. And then the other reason is because our living room is, I don't want to say tulip themed, but there's a lot of tulips in my decor, and this is going to look perfect in it. And like the living room is all these like pinks and oranges and yellows is kind of our setup. So this is just going to look perfect on the wall in the living room. And so I pulled this out last night after I finished B on To Be Loved by You. Or well, on Loved by You, but I have To Be Loved by You finished so far. And so after I finished that, it was like super late, but I wasn't quite done stitching yet. And I was watching Flosstube. I was actually watching the new Steel City Stitchers episode. Love them. And so I decided it was time to pull something else out. And I was feeling kind of like, not guilty, but just I had the urge to get back to Tulip House. So I pulled it out. And so I don't have a whole lot of progress from where this was last time. I'll put a picture up here. But I have done a little bit, and it's still on the Q snap because I'm like was stitching on this over lunch, and I'll stitch on it later, so I'm not going to take it out. But since last time, I have added some more of the chalk outlining. So I did basically a good 3/4 of one of the eaves of the roof. And then I started coming up and doing this other tulip that's here under the E in home. And I finished the outlining on this leaf. And then what I'm going to do basically is do white for a while until I feel like I'm going to lose my eyesight and want to die. And then I'm going to go back in and just color stuff in. Is my current plan, because there is so much white in this piece, which I love for the way that it does the final effect, but like it's a lot of white. So yeah, so that's my current plan. So probably tonight I'll fill this in, do a bit more on this flower, do a bit more on the roof, because I kind of want to start getting more into the house and pull in some more of the red and stuff, just so that there's like more color on the piece, because it will this piece is meant to bring me joy, and the color is the part that brings me joy. So I want a bit more color on it. Although I absolutely love Kathy's chalk designs. They're beautiful. And I want to do loads more of them, like especially some of the chalk patterns. But anyway, also I love this font. This is such a great font. But yeah, this is on 30 count Weeks Dye Works gunmetal linen. Because the called for is that hand-dyed fabrics by Stephanie Slate that everyone uses for their chalk talk designs, and that is nowhere to be found. And I thought this was a pretty good color match. And I am using all of the called for threads, which is just Gas and Weeks Dye Works. Oh, I love this though. It's so pretty. At some point I'm gonna have to start doing flowers over here, but right now I'm just like too excited to go to the house. But I feel like once I've done that, then I'm gonna have to do a bunch of tulips again, and I'm gonna be like, I wanted to do the house because that was the part that was calling to me. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna pull this back out tonight. Okay, sorry about that. I know the lighting has changed a little bit. I had to go teach for 2 hours, but now I'm back and we're gonna finish this video. So we've gone through all my whips, so now we can get to something really exciting, which is my first ever Stitchy Kindness. Would you look at that? And it is from the beautiful, wonderful, fabulous Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. After my first video, Michelle reached out to me, and you know, she was just sort of congratulating me on my channel. Very sweet. And she asked if she could send me a little something, my first happy mail. And I said, you do not need to do that, but thank you. And she did. And it came in the mail. And I did a bit of a not an unboxing, but a yay on my stories, my Insta stories, where I talked about this, but I haven't filmed since I got it, so now I can show you here. So first up, she sent me, there's a very cute card with this mouse on it. How cute is that? With just a sweet little message and, you know, a list of what she's included. And then she sent me, oh my God, it's just, looking at it, it's like too good. So first up, she sent me this floss ring that she made, and I have a little surprise on it. Oh, the reflection from the ring light is something else. Okay. Look at it is. Ah! A history-themed floss ring. The greatest thing in the world. And then she sent me a skein of Silks for You. Look how beautiful this color is. I feel like that's looking pretty true to color. That's, oh my God, I love this. It's so soft. Why didn't you people tell me how soft silk was? Like, I know you said it, but then I touched it and I was like, that's some soft floss. I have got to find a monochromatic project to use for this because, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I can't stop touching it. Okay. I need to put this down before I like just touch it for 100 years. So she sent me both of those. Then she also sent me this little Hedwig needle minder that made a, let me in. Come on. Special appearance earlier on my Harry Potter whip. And look, it has a little, what a cute little back for a needle. Oops. What a cute little, oh my God, I did it again. What a cute little bag for a needle minder. Yeah, this is currently living on Visit Hogsmeade. All right, and then the last thing Michelle sent, and this is the pièce de résistance, if you ask me. Y'all, I have a project bag. I have a fancy, grown-up Flosstuber project bag. Look at it. Bask in its glory. Okay. So she made this for me, or well, I guess I don't know if she made it for me specifically, but she made this bag, and it has this really, okay, well first it's like vinyl front, obviously. It's pretty big, like it holds like a significant sized project, which I'm really pleased about. And it has a little like sort of leathery tassel on it for the zipper pull, which is really cute. And then it's like a vintagey cowboy kind of 50s-y pattern, which I think is really cool. I really like their cheeks. They have cute cheeks. And I love vinyl print because I like to see what's inside. I say that. I've never had a project bag like this before, but I like that these, I can see what's inside. So this is, I cannot wait to put a project in this. I have been like saving it to show you before I put something in it, but I'm about to put something in it. And look, like the corners are mired. Oh, it's so cool. I need to like learn how to make project bags so I can make one for myself now that I'm like getting more comfortable with my sewing machine a little bit. But yeah, this is just the kindest, sweetest thing in the whole world. It made my entire week when Michelle sent this to me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The kindness in this community is just infectious. Which brings me to kind of something I want to discuss that I've saved for this point in the video, which is all of the kindness that I have received so far from all of you on my videos and my channel. And I am shockingly approaching 2,000 subscribers. And as a bit of a thank you, I am kind of planning some form of giveaway for my 2,000 subscriber mark. So that will be coming in the future so that I can send happy mail to one of you. So yeah, that is in the works. Before I get to my haul, I did want to show a knitting project, which I probably should have done with my whips, but whatever. So I know in my last video, I talked a bit about the Wool in the Gang purchase that I had made. And since then, it has come in and I have started it. So I filmed a little unboxing clip when it came in, just so that I could show you like how the package arrived, what comes in it and everything like that. So I'm gonna insert that clip here. I just wanted to do a little unboxing because I just got my Wool in the Gang kit in the mail. So you can see, here's the front. So when it comes, it's like folded down like this. And it says, you know, what the pattern is. So I got the one that comes with the circular needles. This is the Good Times blanket pattern. And when you open it up, you can see it's got all of the yarn and everything. So let's pull that out. So it has the pattern here in this, along with the sewing needle for sewing in the ends. It also comes with the circular needles in this little package. And then, oh, and these are maple wood. We can open them together. Let's see. Okay, so they're like this on the inside to protect the ends. They feel really nice. Wow, I love those. And then, certainly not least, we have the yarn. So this blanket is made with their shiny happy cotton, which, as it says here, is made from hand-picked cotton from Peru. It is so soft. I cannot believe how soft this is. I'm so excited to use this. So this is my first color because it's a 3-color blanket. So I chose Cameo Rose, and I have 2 balls of that. Then the next color is White Noise. So it's pretty bright white, but it is, as you can see from this, a little bit off-white. But I like that. I think that's really pretty. And then we have a second one of that. And then the final color is Jog Gray. Oh, wow. I love the heathering in that. That's really pretty. I cannot get over how soft these are. Oh my god. Wow. That's so nice. And then it has on top as well, you can see the gauge, the recommended needles. I love how this was packaged. I wonder if we open up the... Should we open up the pattern? Let's see what's in here. I don't want to give away the pattern, obviously, but... Okay, so it looks like this. And I think it includes both instructions for how to learn several of the stitches, some videos that you can watch, and then the actual pattern. Wow, that's super nice. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys me unboxing this because I cannot wait to get going on it. So I wanted to make sure I filmed this first. I will let you know how it goes. I forgot to say, it also comes with this little fabric tag that you sew onto the blanket at the end. How cute is that? I love that. Such a nice touch. All right, yeah, so that's what it looked like when it came in. It's all very nicely like individually packaged, which I liked. I've also kept the skein cover for at least the first color that I'm using, which is the Jog Gray, just so that you can see that. So I have been keeping this in something that is part of haul, which is, I got this knitting project bag off of Amazon. I will link it below, and it's really nice. First off, this is the cutest pattern in the world. Second off, it has like the holes at the top for the yarn to come out of. I haven't tried that yet, but I thought, okay. It also has a zipper pocket on the front, which is where I've been keeping all of my little knitting tools. some of which are in haul, but because it's related to knitting, I'll just throw them in here. So I picked up a pack of stitch markers off of Amazon. I will link these below. They're called crochet locking stitch markers, but I'm using them for knitting. And I thought I needed these because now that I'm a floss tuber, apparently, I need to be able to put my marker on so that you can see how far I've gone since the last time I knit. Or, well, since the last time I showed you a video, not since the last time I knitted. I also got some of these clover, like, needle caps to protect my circular knitting needle ends, and also so that my project won't slip off the needles, because this blanket is going to be huge. So this is, I am making the Good Times blanket from Wool and the Gang. And I got the kit, so it comes with the pattern. I paid extra to get the knitting needles, and I can show you my progress on this so far. I have not gotten very far. So it's still on the needles, obviously. But I have gotten, let me just see if I can, that far into color 1. So I think I've done like 6 rows, maybe. Yeah, maybe 6 rows. They did a cable cast on, which I'd never done before, but it was pretty easy. It's 120 stitches across. Oh, I have a twist. Whatever. It's 120 stitches across. And then essentially what I'm supposed to do is do 6 blocks of colors, and then they'll repeat. So each color gets 2 blocks. So this is color A, and then I think I'm gonna do the pink and then the white, and then I'll do gray, pink, white. But yeah, this has been really fun to knit so far. Obviously, it's pretty easy. It's just like knitting. I'm not doing any other stitches. It's just a garter stitch. And then they are having us slip 1 purlwise on the side so that like the sides of the blanket look nice and pretty. So yeah, that's as far as I've gotten. So let me put my new little stitch marker on it. We'll go with the little peachy pink to kind of go with where the blanket colors are going to be. And I will snap this on here. Ta-da! So the next time that you see this, we can know where I was at. But yeah, I'm loving this. I think this is going to be a great blanket. It's going to take me 7 zillion years, just because of how big it's going to be. But I think it's really meditative, and it'll be nice to have like made a blanket. And again, it's so soft. It's just so soft. I would recommend the Wool and the Gang kit so far. Obviously, I haven't finished the project, but it's just been very, very well made, I think, well packaged. I mean, it was expensive. I paid 57 pounds for this kit, which was originally like 100 and some, but there was a 50% off sale going on all of their blankets, and I scooped it up. And I think if you can find a sale and you're either like a beginner knitter or you really want a chance to knit with some of the Wool and the Gang yarn, but you kind of want to get a pattern with the purchase because, you know, their yarn is relatively expensive, then I think that the kit is actually a good way to go. I'm really pleased with it. That's my little knitting update, and this lives in here. Okay, so then for the rest of my haul, obviously I had to get some DMC to start Visit Hogsmeade, although not that much, really only like 4 skeins or something like that. I had all of the rest of the colors. And obviously my knitting projects came in. I showed the stitch markers, all that. The rest of what came in the mail are 2 things, and then I got a couple of charts that I'll show. So first things first, from Frosted Pumpkin, my buttons from Just Another Button Company came in. So these are the 3 buttons that will be used to finish the Christmas wreath pillow. It calls for these exact buttons. And like I said in the last video, I don't know necessarily that you have to get these, but I wanted to, you can't really, let me see if I can hold it against the board. The problem is it's gonna slide everywhere. Okay. I don't know if you can see, but they're like a very light pink. And then they have a little, they call it a sparkle in the name of it, like a red sparkle, but I think it looks a bit more like a snowflake. But anyway, so I have 3 of those. And I had to pay a lot for shipping for that. But I think, I don't know, I guess I've come to the conclusion that if I'm going to do a project, I want it to look how I want. And I didn't necessarily want to go the cheap option and pick buttons that I didn't like as much as these buttons, or not being able to get buttons in the right size, and then it messes up the look of the pillow and everything. And I just thought, if I'm going to spend, you know, all my time on working on this, then I want to get the buttons. So, but you know, again, it's up to you. I will say they came relatively fast for the state of international shipping, so. But yeah, and it comes with this cute little card. And actually on the back of the card, there is a little chart on the back of the card for like a little cupcake, which is cute. And then the next thing, or well, I should say, so my anniversary start that I talked about in my last video that I wanted to start, that has not come in the mail yet. The USPS information hasn't updated since like the 14th of January. So I assume it's just stuck in an airport somewhere. It will get to me eventually, but I didn't get a chance to start it for the anniversary. So it'll have to be like, I don't know, maybe if it gets here by Valentine's Day, I could start it on Valentine's Day. Or at least I want to start it when it comes in, because I have put my mind to starting that. That's I Forget the Rest by Lindy Stitches. So I don't have that to show, and that's why I didn't start that. But I did purchase a couple of charts. The first being, I got Hello Pumpkin by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I've been saying I'm going to do all 4 of the trees, and I just wanted to pick this one up because Sally was doing like a 10% off sale, and I just wanted to grab it. And while I was there, I picked up the needle minder of the owl, which is just, you know how I feel about owls. And this came in super quick. They just have great customer service at Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So I will be not starting that for a while. I probably won't start that until after I've done the spring tree and the summer tree, but I just wanted to pick it up because I wanted to have it. I wanted to already have it, and I wanted to have this because then whenever I want to start it, I can just go for it. The other 2 charts that I got, one was the Visit Hogsmeade chart, obviously. The other chart that I picked up was this chart from Owl Forest Embroidery called Autumn Flowers. They were running a sale on some of their charts as well, and I've looked at this one a lot of times. I think it's really pretty in terms of the like the use of the purple fabric and the way that the flowers are and everything, and it's something that I might want to stitch for this room. So yeah, I just picked that up while it was there on sale. And I think that was it in terms of my haul. So let's talk plans. So what do I want to work on before next time? I want to put a few more rows in on the blanket. I haven't really touched it this past week. I want to keep working a bit more on Tulip House, get some more color in, get some more chalk outline in. If my I Forget the Rest pattern comes in, I want to start that. I want to put a little bit more work into 100 Owls. I would also like to put at least 100 or 2 more stitches into my full coverage piece that I just started for the Harry Potter wall. And I would also like to, before next time, finish Loved by You. That might sound ambitious, but I've been stitching that very quickly, just because it's kind of like mini finishes when you do each letter, and it's exciting, so then you get momentum and you just keep going. So I'd like to have that finished and up by the next time we chat, mostly because I have a couple of other starts planned. So like I said, I want to start I Forget the Rest when it comes in. Sally at Caterpillar Cross Stitch is supposed to release the next tree in the series, the spring tree, this month, Hello Petal. And the minute that that comes out, I want to be able to start it. I've already ordered white fabric, like in the size that I want, so that I can start it like immediately upon release, because I'm that excited about it. And my third planned start for this month is Celebrate Winter by Madame Chantilly, which I'm going to be doing as a sal with Megan at Georgia Girl Stitching. And the hashtag for that is hashtag Celebrate Chantilly Sal. And if you want to join us, you can stitch on any of Madame Chantilly's tiered trays or any of her other charts. It doesn't matter. We just wanted to give Chantilly a little bit of love, and Megan and I both love all of the trays. I want to do several of them, I think, for the house to have kind of rotate through the seasons. And something about this winter one, I just could not say no. So I already have it all kitted up, and we're going to be starting that on February 28th. And if you want to, join in or follow along, like I said, the hashtag for that we'll be using on Instagram is Celebrate Chantilly Sal. So if all of that happens, I'm about to have 3 new starts this month. So I would really like to get Loved by You done, just to kind of like clear a path, let's say, for those new starts, since I did add an additional new start of Visit Hogsmeade. I am quickly approaching 10 active whips, which is, I guess, what Flosstube does to you. As my dear friend Sean and I always say, we are constantly updating each other on the status of our whip count, and then just enabling the other one to get that pattern they've been talking about. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. But yeah, I think that's everything that I have to talk about. I hope you liked the material minute in today's video. I know it was short and kind of basic. If there's anything you want to see out of those, let me know. I just wanted to get one up and running so you could kind of see what it would look like with me doing one. I want to say thank you again to everyone who, has reached out to me, liked my videos, commented. I've tried very hard to get back to all of you and, really get a chance to engage with you and be part of this community. That's what this is all about. So thank you so much. If you've tuned in to this video this week, and I'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. So until then, if you enjoyed this video, please please leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel. I will be doing this every 2 weeks for the foreseeable future. And thank you again so much for spending a little bit more stitchy time with me. And I hope you guys are safe and well, and that all of your families are safe and well, and that stitching is getting you through. So again, thank you guys. Bye.